Today's video is about healing the father wound. Now, what do I mean by this? We'll be delving into our past, how we have been raised, what example did our fathers leave for us, how have we been affected, because our current way that we're fathering, fathering our children is linked to our past of how we have been fathered by our fathers. And these are the things I'm going to explore is our traumas. If there was any abuse, if there was any neglect, if there was any fatherhood absence, all of these things we're going to be delving into. So I will be setting off some triggers. It's only to provoke thought for reflection to move forward. So that's just a disclaimer before we get started. Okay, so let's start. The absent father. I'm sure that you have encountered this where your father said that he will be there at this particular event and he didn't show up. How did that make you feel? What were your expectations when your father said that he will be there, and then when the day came and he didn't show up? How did that make you feel? Was there a time when you were seeking your father's approval for something, yearning for his recognition, for his praise, but it never came? He didn't give you any recognition. He didn't give you any praise. He was absent emotionally. He didn't cater to your emotional needs. Did your father also teach you how to learn to be independent? Did he give you those skills to navigate life? Was he around to give you the tools that you needed to overcome challenges and obstacles and barriers and boundaries? Did he help you to navigate through life? Were there any promises that he said he would fulfill that got broken? For example, quality time. Son, I'll be there. I'll give you time. But it didn't happen. Not just once. Once you forgave. Second time you forgave. Third time, it became a habit. It became a pattern. It now became his identity of a letdown for you. Was there also inconsistent support? Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. How much involvement did he engage in your life, take part in your life as a child? You know, did he show more and more letdowns as time went on? Do you remember those times when you felt hurt, when you relied on him and he said he'll be there and he didn't show up? How did you feel? What did you do at that time? How did you cope with it? Was your father the type of person who pressurized you to perform? So your father had high standards for you that were just impossible to meet. And then you felt inadequate because not all the time you could meet those expectations that your father had of you. How did that make you feel? Did that impact your confidence? Did that impact your self-esteem? Because when the times that you did fail or you didn't live up to his expectations, how did he react? How did he respond towards you? How did that make you feel? What was that like? And did your father have conditional love? So he'll show you love. He'll show you the affection or the praise that you needed only if you had achieved something really good. But when you achieve something good, then the expectations just got more and more higher, but you couldn't fulfill them. So he didn't show you any affection, any type of love. Did you feel neglected? Were there times when you did feel neglected, when you really wanted to be embraced by your father, to be loved by your father? Not just for you to achieve something. He loves you because you are his son, not because of what you have achieved. So now we're going to look at how to break the cycle. But before we do that, there are a few more things that I want to go over. Let's talk about emotional disconnect. Were there times when you needed your father there because you wanted to open up to him about something that's been troubling you, something that's been bothering you, but you couldn't quite reach out to him? You didn't have the confidence to confide in him. You didn't have the reassurance that, you know what, if I open up, would my father value me? Would he give me that time of day? Would he give me the encouragement or the tools or the advice that I need to navigate this? Is my dad really going to embrace me? Is he going to give me the time of day? Were there moments like this that you had experienced during your own upbringing? How did that make you feel when you felt abandoned, when there was an emotional disconnect? Were there times of lack of intimacy? What do I mean by that? There was really deep communication. Communication was just absent. There wasn't even there. It was scarce. Was there a time that you could remember where you sat down with your dad, had a joke, spent some time together, had a nice conversation? Did he make his time available to you? Or was there just disconnect? Was it like one of them types of relationship where it's just hi and bye? How did that make you feel? What was that like? And as a father, when you was growing up, did he give you a voice? So from a boy to now a young adult, did he allow you to speak? Did he allow you to communicate? Did you ever have any bonding through communication? Was that there? Was that present in your upbringing? How often did you get criticized by comments from your father? You're not good enough. Why did you do that? What's wrong with you? When your dad spoke to you, when your father spoke to you, was it negative majority of the time? Did it make you feel sad? Did it attack your sense of self-worth? Did it attack your self-esteem? How did your father make you feel as a boy and as a man whilst he was growing up? Did he give you the confidence? Did he impact your life in a positive way? Was he always seeking perfection from you? That you need to be of this caliber, this standard, and if you're not, you're nothing. Did he even have a standard? Did he ever want to see you improve, to evolve? Or was it just criticism after criticism after criticism and ridicule and ridicule? When you done something where you thought that, yeah, you know what, this will make my dad proud, and when you done it and you told him about it, he criticized you. It went up to his expectations. But you yourself, you put in the time, you put in the effort, you was dedicated, but it wasn't good enough for him. When you showed up and you showed him those things, how did he react? How did he respond? Was it positive, or was it just criticism? Everyone has a wound. Everyone's been hurt. Everyone has some kind of trauma, some more than others. Everyone's been through some kind of abuse, whether it's physical or emotional abuse. At what level was your own abuse? Was it emotional? When he criticized you, did it come with some kind of physical beating as well? Did it come with verbalage? So let's look at solutions. Let's look at healing now. What can we do? Now that we have this trauma, if we do not heal, then we're likely to carry out the curse. It's a curse. We're likely to carry out the curse and pass it on to our own children. So we now, from being a victim, now we can become the aggressor. We can become the tyrant. And we can do that to our own children without realizing it. Because we have trauma inside us that's not healed. And we will magnify it onto them. We'll bring the heat onto them. Because it's not been dealt with. We've not had some kind of therapy. We've not had some kind of healing time to heal. But now's the time to heal. Now's the time to take heed of the past. Learn from the past. Not dwell on the past and say, oh, why did this happen? If I had done this, or why is this keep going around and round and round? You want to move forward? Ask reflective questions. Think about what you went through and what you can take from the learning from the past and apply it in your current relationship with your children. This video is all about discovering your traumas, what you went through, and what you could be bringing into your own personal relationship with your child. Because if you don't identify these sort of things, you could be harming your child and your spouse, whether you realize it or not, because you're not healed. This is how important it is. So there are ways of working through this, and it's about choosing a different path. It's choosing a path of cultivating empathy, understanding your father's struggles, as hard as it may be. Being more forgiving. That can also be a powerful healing tool. Why? Because if you don't forgive and move on, I'm not saying forgive and forget. No, I'm saying you need to forgive so you can move on. Because if you don't do this, then you'll carry resentment, you'll carry bitterness and hurt. And that's more likely to manifest in your own personal relationships with your children. Because you're still harboring those feelings, those hurts as a child, what you went through. And the next thing that we could do as a part of our solution, as a part of our healing process, is to protect your emotions, is to set boundaries, is to set limits where, you know what, I'm feeling this hurt, I'm feeling this pain, but I'm going to hold back. I'm not going to allow my inner demons to overpower me, because when they overpower me, I could end up harming my child or my children as a father, and even my spouse. So I need to rein myself back, control myself. I need to take time to reflect, to really analyze and ponder how I'm coming across, how I'm carrying myself and conducting myself. Because if I don't do this, it's going to harm my family. So we can use the past as motivation to move forwards. We can either live in the past, dwell on the past, and let that affect our future or our present time with our children and our family, or we can use the past as motivation to drive forward, because we have to break the cycle, we have to break this curse. And the way to break the curse is to start healing. And the way to start healing is to reflect, is to acknowledge. How do we break the pattern? Number one, identify the old pattern and have a new approach. Second thing is emotional distance. Before there was emotional distance, now you want to encourage open communication. You was criticized once before, now it's about bringing in encouragement into your family. Your father was absent, now you have to be consistently present for your family. You do the opposite of what you went through with your child or your children and your family. And this can help to heal the wound.